I'm calling the cops to arrest you right now, Diana Whitmore's scream tore through the quiet Saturday morning. I froze with my hand on the gear shift 8:15 a.m. and she was sprinting across Elmwood Drive in a rose-pink blazer, phone already at her ear. I was sitting in my midnight blue Tesla inside my own garage, engine not even started, and the HOA president of Ridgeview Heights was calling 911 on me for opening my garage door. 7 weeks in this neighborhood. I stepped out slowly, keeping both hands visible. The garage door was still only halfway open. Diana stood at my property line, one finger pointing at me like I was a fugitive. "Yes, officer," she said into the phone, breathing deliberately heavy. "He's right here. I'm scared. He looks aggressive. Please hurry." Aggressive. I was wearing a faded hoodie and holding car keys. Behind her, curtains moved in, windows up and down the street. Perfect audience for whatever performance Diana had planned. "Miss Whitmore," I said, keeping my voice level, "this is my car. You know that's my car." She took a step back as if I'd threatened her. "Don't you dare come near me. That Tesla is mine. I bought it in August. You're stealing it right now." August. It was late October. "I have the title," I said, "the registration, the purchase contract, all with my name." Her eyes flickered a tiny crack in the performance. Then she recovered. "He's lying. He forged everything. I've had it for months. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't confusion. This was deliberate." Sirens approached. 2 patrol cars arrived within 3 minutes. Officer Martinez stepped out. I recognized him from the previous incident 2 weeks ago when Diana had called about me, threatening her by asking about a parking fine. "Miss Whitmore," he said, tone professional but strained, "you called about a vehicle theft?" Diana rushed toward him, actual tears appearing. "Officer, thank God. That man is trying to steal my Tesla. I bought it in August and he's been hiding it in his garage." Martinez looked at me, doing mental math, remembering our last encounter. "Mr. Chen, is this your vehicle?" "Yes, sir. I bought it August 12th. I have all the documentation inside." I retrieved the blue folder from my workbench. Title, registration, driver's license, original purchase contract. Martinez examined each document, checked the VIN against the title. Then he turned to Diana. "Ma'am, do you have documentation for this vehicle?" Diana ran to her house, returned with her own folder. Inside, a blurry photocopy of a receipt, an old photo of a Tesla with no license plate, and a handwritten declaration of ownership with her signature. Martinez's eyebrows rose. "Miss Whitmore, this receipt doesn't have a VIN number. The photo doesn't show a plate. This declaration isn't a legal ownership document." Diana's voice went shrill. "He forged his documents. I'm the HOA president. I've lived here 12 years. Why would you believe him over me?" "How long someone's lived here doesn't determine who owns a car, ma'am." Diana turned to the gathered neighbors. "You all see this? He stole it, and they're letting him get away with it." Martinez stepped closer, voice dropping. "Miss Whitmore, filing a false police report is a crime. Making a fraudulent 911 call wastes emergency resources. Do you understand?" For a moment, something flashed across her face. Not embarrassment, rage. Pure, cold rage. "I'm not wrong," she said quietly. "That car should be mine. I deserve it more than he does." There it was. "Not is mine, should be mine." Martinez caught it. "We're done here. Mr. Chen's documentation is valid. Ma'am, I'm giving you a warning. Do not call 911 again unless you have an actual emergency. If you do this again, there will be consequences." Diana stared at him, then at me. "You'll regret this." "I'll prove everything." She walked back to her house, spine straight, head high like she'd won instead of being publicly contradicted by 3 police officers. The crowd dispersed. Martinez handed back my documents. "Mr. Chen, keep those somewhere safe, and document everything. I mean everything." After the patrol cars left, I sat in my Tesla, not starting it. My hands shook slightly, adrenaline catching up. 7 weeks in this neighborhood, and the HOA president had just called the cops on me for opening my garage door. I pulled out my phone, opened the security camera app I'd installed after the third bogus violation notice. The footage was crystal clear, time-stamped, cloud backed up. At 7:45 a.m., Diana had been standing on her porch watching my house 30 minutes before I'd even woken up, waiting, planning. This wasn't over. 7 weeks earlier, I'd pulled into Ridgeview Heights with genuine optimism. I'd just landed a senior software engineering position, biggest salary of my career. The neighborhood looked perfect. Diana Whitmore appeared at my door within 2 hours. Navy suit, leather folder, smile that didn't reach her eyes. Welcome to Ridgeview Heights. I'm Diana Whitmore, HOA president. She walked through my living room without invitation, asking about my work, income, whether I was married, what car I drove. These are your community guidelines, she said, dropping the folder on my counter. 73 pages. We maintain very high standards here. Week 2, the first letter arrived. Violation notice for extended street parking exceeding 2 hours. My car had been outside while I unloaded equipment. 2 hours and 12 minutes. $600 fine. I paid it, not wanting to start a fight. That was my first mistake. Week 4. Lawn height exceeding 3.5 inches. $600 fine. I measured my lawn that morning 3.1 inches. I had photos. I hand-delivered everything to Diana. Our measurements are more accurate than yours. The fine stands. I paid $350 after threatening a board review. But I also installed cameras, 6 of them, 4K resolution, cloud backup, covering every corner. By Friday, I had footage of Diana walking past my house 3 times, staring at my Tesla. Saturday, she took photos of my car from multiple angles. Week 5. Garage door left open, unsupervised for more than 30 minutes. $800. My camera showed me inside the garage the entire time. I called my friend Jackson Rivera, a civil rights attorney. Sent him everything. Marcus, this is textbook harassment. Document everything. People like this escalate. When they do, you'll have a pattern no judge could miss. I created the folder, digital and physical copies, backed up to 3 cloud services. The total was $7,900 by week 9. I researched Diana. Public records showed she'd been HOA president for 9 years. The HOA collected $94,000 in penalty fees last year. For 142 homes, that was astronomical. I found 3 residents willing to talk. Thomas Chen, no relation, a retired engineer, told me about Diana fining people $9,000 for tree leaves. About residents threatened, harassed until they moved. She targets people, Thomas said. Anyone who questions her. She uses the HOA like a weapon. Week 10, Diana posted in the neighborhood group. Recent violations by new residents show troubling disregard for rules. The board is considering stronger enforcement measures. No names, but everyone knew. Saturday morning, week 11. I pressed the button to open my garage. 8 seconds in, I heard the scream. I'm calling the cops to arrest you right now. The overreach. Diana claiming my Tesla was hers. The cameras recording everything. The police left around 9:30. I spent Saturday reviewing footage, updating my evidence folder. Sunday passed too quietly. Diana's car didn't leave her driveway. Her lights stayed on late. She was planning something. Monday afternoon, an envelope taped to my door. HOA letterhead. Violation notice. Vehicle positioned 4 inches over property boundary. Fine, $1,400. My Tesla was well within my property lines. I measured 16 inches of clearance. Photographed from 6 angles. I checked my footage. At 11:30 a.m., Diana had walked over, taken photos from an angle that made the perspective look different. Manufacturing evidence. Again, I emailed my measurements. Her response came in 2 minutes. HOA measurements performed by certified personnel using professional equipment. Your amateur measurements not recognized. Fine stands. Friday. Violation notice. Washing vehicles in driveway, creating wastewater runoff. Fine. $1,800. I hadn't washed my car. But my footage showed Diana at 3 p.m. pouring water across my driveway, taking photos, then leaving. She'd created the evidence, falsified it completely, documented her own crime because she didn't know about my cameras. I called Jackson. She's manufacturing violations now. I have her on camera. That's fraud. You could take this to police right now. What should I do? Let her keep going. One manufactured violation could be argued as a mistake. A pattern is conspiracy. The more she does, the stronger your case. I paid the fines, documented everything, waited. Week 8 brought 2 more. Excessive noise from garage, $2,200. Cameras showed Diana placing a Bluetooth speaker near my garage, playing music, claiming the noise came from inside. Improper storage of equipment, $1,200. I didn't argue. Just documented, backed up footage, paid. Thomas stopped by one evening. We met 2 blocks away in his car. She's talking about you in board meetings, calling you a problem resident. She's building a narrative probably for a lien on your property. When's the next board meeting? Week after next, not public unless you request. I filed a formal request. Diana denied it. I appealed to the Oregon HOA Regulatory Board. They overruled her within 48 hours. Diana's response, your attendance is noted. Disruptive behavior will not be tolerated. I spent 2 weeks preparing, organizing the evidence folder into a presentation, timeline, financial breakdown, camera footage compiled with timestamps. Week 12, Friday afternoon. Diana posted in the neighborhood group, Community Alert, a resident has shown repeated willful disregard for rules. Despite multiple notices, this individual continues operating as if regulations don't apply. The board is exploring all enforcement options, including liens and legal action. The comments exploded. People taking sides without knowing the full story. She'd gone public with accusations, created a record of harassment beyond HOA notices, defamation performed in front of 412 residents. I screenshotted everything, backed it up, added it to the folder. The HOA board meeting was in 3 days. Saturday morning, week 13. I got up early for a hardware store run. When I pressed the button to open my garage, I had a strange feeling of certainty. Today, whatever Diana had been building toward was happening today. 8 seconds in, I heard her scream. Monday evening, Thomas knocked on my door, nervous. I've been keeping records too, he said. For 6 years, every questionable decision Diana made. He spread documents across my table, Diana approving expenses without board votes, changing rules without notice, penalty fees deposited into an account she controlled personally. Why show me this? Because I'm a coward. I saw what she did and kept quiet, but watching her go after you, I can't stay silent anymore. If you're going to take her down, you need to take her down completely. Will you testify? He hesitated, then nodded. If it will help. Tuesday evening, 6:45 p.m. I drove to the community center. The parking lot was already half full. I grabbed my laptop and walked in. Thomas was at the door. Good luck. A lot of us are rooting for you. Inside, the meeting room was packed. 107 people crammed into a space for 70. Diana sat at the center table in a sharp navy suit, hair perfect, makeup flawless. Ready for corporate presentation, not confrontation about fraud. At 7, Diana stood and called the meeting to order. We have a full agenda, but first I want to address concerning issues regarding a specific resident who has shown repeated disregard for our community standards. Attack first. Establish narrative before I could present evidence. This resident has accumulated over $11,000 in legitimate fines and responded by making baseless accusations. Tonight we'll discuss potential legal action and lien placement. She looked directly at me, challenging me to react. I didn't, Just sat calmly with my laptop. Thomas raised his hand. Point of order. Mr. Chen filed a formal complaint. Shouldn't he be allowed to present it? Diana's jaw tightened. The complaint is without merit. Don't we vote on that? I'm the president. I determine what has merit. Thomas stood. According to Bylaws Section 21, any resident has the right to present formal complaints. Mr. Chen should be heard. Murmurs of agreement. Diana looked trapped. Fine. Mr. Chen, you have 10 minutes. I stood, connected my laptop to the projector. I'll need more than 10 minutes. I have 86 pages of evidence. The room went silent. First slide appeared. Pattern of harassment and fraud. Documentation of HOA president. Abuse of power. 107 pairs of eyes locked on the screen. August 29th. I moved in. August 31st. First violation. $600 for parking 14 minutes over while unloading. Click. Violation notice next to my photos proving I was actively unloading. September 12th. Lawn height allegedly exceeding 3.5 inches. My measurement showed 3.1 inches. $600. Click. Photos with ruler in frame, all within guidelines. By week 13, 27 violations totaling $11,700. Here's the financial breakdown. Chart showing escalation from $600 to $2,400 over 13 weeks. Now, here's where it gets interesting. I installed security cameras in week 6. First video clip. Diana walking to my driveway with a container, pouring water, taking photos. 30 minutes after this, I received a notice for creating wastewater runoff. $1,800. Except I never washed my car. Miss Whitmore created the evidence herself. Room erupted. People whispering, pointing at screen. Diana shot to her feet. That video is fabricated. He edited it. I didn't respond. Just clicked to next video. Deanna placing speaker near my garage. Music playing. Photos. Then violation notice claiming excessive noise from inside. $2,200. Metadata available for independent verification. Timestamps backed up across 3 platforms. All footage, original, unedited, 4K. Another click. Saturday morning footage, Diana on porch at 7:48. Positioning at 8:05. Screaming moment my garage opened at 8:15. Audio clear. I'm calling the cops to arrest you right now. Crowd watched in silence as Diana claimed my Tesla was hers. As police verified my ownership, as she became agitated. Then, the moment that made people gasp, Diana's voice on camera. That car should be mine. Someone like him doesn't deserve it. I paused. Not is mine. Should be mine. This was never about theft. This was about a woman who believed she deserved something that belonged to someone else. Diana shaking with rage. You're taking that out of context. I have 3 former residents willing to testify. Next slide. Written statement from Thomas. Fined $9,000 for tree leaves after refusing to sell land below market value. Statement 2. Grace Patterson. Threatened for asking about finances. 19 violations in 2 months. Statement 3. Via video. Sarah Kim's face filled the screen. Miss Whitmore made my life unbearable. Constant calls to police. Constant fines. I sold my house because fighting her was destroying my mental health. Room absolutely still. Financial analysis. Over 6 years, this HOA collected $563,000 in penalty fees, 4 times national average. Where did that money go? Next slide. Bank records. $43,000 deposited into an account Miss Whitmore controls personally, claimed as administrative fees. No record of board votes approving these payments. Board member Jennifer stood. Diana, is this true? We never voted on administrative fees. Diana whirled on her. Those are legitimate expenses. I don't need approval for reimbursing myself. Thomas stood. According to Bylaws Section 28, Any payment over $750 requires majority vote. You've been embezzling." Diana's face went white. "How dare you?" "I've dedicated 9 years. I've maintained values. I've kept this neighborhood prestigious." She pointed at me. "Him especially. With his expensive car and entitled attitude, people like him are destroying what makes neighborhoods like this special." The mask was off. Professional HOA president replaced by someone consumed with resentment. "You want to know why that Tesla should be mine? Because I earned it. 9 years of dealing with you. I deserve nice things. I deserve respect. Instead, I get challenged by some arrogant software engineer who's been here 5 minutes. Thomas's voice cut through. "Diana, you just admitted you believe you're entitled to another person's property." Officer Martinez stepped forward from the back. "Miss Whitmore, I'm going to ask you to step outside. We need to discuss possible charges. You can't arrest me." "I'm the HOA president!" "Ma'am, come voluntarily. Don't make this difficult." Room exploded into noise. Diana looked around wildly. "You can't do this. These people need me." The second officer moved to her side. "Ma'am, please come with us." Diana's eyes landed on me, pure hatred. "This is your fault. You ruined everything. You don't belong here." As they escorted her out, she tried once more. "Don't you see what he's doing?" "He's destroying our community!" But the crowd just watched silently as she was led away. Door closed. Noise tripled. Thomas raised his hands. "I motion we suspend this meeting and reconvene tomorrow for emergency leadership transition and full audit." Jennifer seconded. Unanimous vote. Meeting adjourned. People swarmed me. Questions, thanks, handshakes. Thomas gripped my shoulder. "You did what I couldn't. Thank you." Grace crying. I thought I was crazy, but it was her. The whole time. I walked out at 9:45. The parking lot still full of residents processing what they'd witnessed. The fall of a tyrant. The exposure of systematic abuse. I drove home, pulled into my driveway. For the first time in 13 weeks, I didn't feel watched. The neighborhood felt lighter. I made coffee, sat in my living room. Tomorrow would bring complications, police investigation, criminal charges, civil lawsuits. But tonight, I felt something I hadn't since moving here. Peace. But that peace shattered the next morning. I woke to 3 missed calls from Jackson and a text. "Call me now. Marcus, we have a problem." Diana's attorney filed an emergency motion claiming illegal surveillance. They're arguing your footage was obtained without consent, violates Oregon privacy laws. Judge granted a hearing for this afternoon. My stomach dropped. My cameras are on my property. I know. But they're arguing that because cameras captured Diana on her property and in public without her knowledge, it's illegal surveillance. If the judge buys it, all video evidence could be excluded. Coffee turned to acid. That's insane. If video's excluded, the rest weakens significantly. Thomas's financial records might be challenged as improperly obtained. Diana's going for full dismissal based on procedural violations. So everything, all the proof, could be thrown out. Not because you're wrong, but because of a technicality. What do we do? Fight it. But I'm in Seattle. Can't get there. You need local representation. Finding someone good on short notice, it's tough. I called 3 firms. First 2 couldn't take it. Third answered. "Mr. Chen," Attorney Daniel Park said, "I can appear, but I need to review evidence immediately. Can you come in an hour?" "I'll be there in 30 minutes. At Daniel's office, we went through everything for 90 minutes. He asked rapid questions, took notes, cross-referenced Oregon statutes. "Okay, Diana's attorney will argue that because your cameras captured her where she had reasonable expectation of privacy, it violates state law. But she was on my property. I know. That's our argument. But they'll counter that cameras also captured her on public streets and near her home. That's murky." He pulled up a case file. "There's precedent both ways. Judge Morrison is hearing this. She's strict on procedures but hates fraud. Could go either way. So, our chances?" Quiet moment. "Honestly, 50-50. 50-50. 6 months of work came down to a coin flip. At the courthouse, the hearing room was small. Diana sat with her attorney, Rebecca Walsh, in an expensive suit. Diana looked composed, like the board meeting meltdown never happened. Judge Morrison entered. Gray hair, sharp eyes. This is a hearing on a motion to exclude evidence. Miss Walsh, proceed. For 20 minutes, Walsh dismantled my case. Security cameras violated privacy statutes. Recordings obtained without consent. Even if showing illegal activity, the method was itself illegal. Financial records Thomas provided were obtained without authorization. Your Honor, the prosecution's entire case rests on improperly obtained evidence. Mr. Chen conducted illegal surveillance. Mr. Thomas improperly accessed confidential records. If this is excluded, there is no case. We request full dismissal. Judge Morrison looked at Daniel. Counselor, your response? Daniel stood, hands shaking slightly, but voice steady. Your Honor, Oregon law is clear. Individuals have the right to install security cameras on their own property. Mr. Chen's cameras were positioned on his property, recording his property. The fact they incidentally captured Miss Whitmore committing fraud doesn't constitute illegal surveillance. It's documentation of criminal activity. But cameras also captured defendant on public streets, Walsh countered. Daniel pulled up laptop. I'd like to present Exhibit 14 positioning map of Mr. Chen's cameras. All 6 angled to cover his property. Public street appears in background, but camera's primary purpose was property security, not surveillance. He showed diagrams. Miss Whitmore appears because she repeatedly entered Mr. Chen's property to create false evidence. She placed herself in range through her own illegal actions. Morrison studied diagrams. What about financial records? Daniel hesitated just a second. Your Honor, Mr. Thomas had legitimate access during his board tenure. Bylaws don't specify retention period for historical data access. Walsh jumped. He's no longer on the board. No authorization to share confidential information. Clear violation of HOA privacy rules. Morrison leaned back. Counselor Park, case law supporting your position? Daniel pulled up 2 cases, both older, different jurisdictions, neither perfect. Walsh countered with 3 Oregon cases, all within 5 years, all supporting exclusion. Hearing went on 40 minutes. Back and forth. Arguments. Counter-arguments. Finally, Morrison raised her hand. I've heard enough. I'll take this under advisement and issue a ruling within 48 hours. Until then, all criminal proceedings are stayed. My heart sank. Stayed. Paused. Possibly dismissed. Daniel leaned over. That's not terrible. If she was ruling against us immediately, she would have. Taking time means she's considering both sides. But all I heard was 48 hours. Diana walked past on her way out. Our eyes met. She smiled. Not friendly. A smile that said, you thought you won. You haven't. Not yet. That night, I couldn't eat. Sat staring at the evidence folder, 241 files that might become irrelevant because of technicality. Jackson called. How are you holding up? I did everything right, and it might not matter. That's the system sometimes. If evidence gets excluded, then we regroup, find another angle. Don't give up. But his voice lacked conviction. Without video, without financial records, the case became my word against hers, and she'd been HOA president for 9 years. She had credibility, history. I was just the new guy with complaints. Next day dragged, couldn't concentrate. Every phone buzz made me jump. By evening, I'd accepted I might lose, that Diana might walk away, that the system I'd trusted might fail. Wednesday morning, 8:47 a.m., Daniel called. Judge Morrison issued her ruling. Can you come to my office? Just tell me. Pause. She partially granted the motion. Video of Diana on public streets and near her property is excluded, but footage of her on your property is admissible. My breath caught. What does that mean? We lost the videos of her waiting on her porch and positioning herself, But we kept videos of her pouring water, placing speaker, creating fake evidence. Financial records are also admissible. Judge ruled historical HOA data doesn't fall under privacy protections. So we still have a case? We have a case, but weaker. Without full video timeline, we can't prove premeditation or pattern as strongly. Not complete loss, not a win, a crack in the foundation. Over the next week, that crack grew. Diana's attorney filed motion after motion, challenging witness testimony, questioning chain of custody, requesting delays, each motion 8 times. Each delay gave Diana opportunity to rebuild her image, and she was doing exactly that. She appeared on local news about HOA governance challenges, positioned herself as dedicated volunteer targeted by disgruntled resident. Interviewer didn't push back, just gave her platform to spin. Within days, neighborhood social media shifted, posts defending Diana. She may have made mistakes, but 9 years shouldn't be erased by one dispute, Thomas called, voice heavy. Some people are wavering, starting to think this was overreaction. They saw the evidence. Evidence now being challenged in court. Diana's good at playing victim, convincing people you manipulated everything. 2 weeks after hearing, Sarah Kim called, "I can't testify. Diana's attorney said they'll sue me for defamation. I can't afford that." "I'm sorry." Grace Patterson called next day. "My lawyer says testifying could expose me to liability. I have kids. Can't risk everything." One by one, witnesses disappeared. Week 3, I sat in Daniel's office, listening to him explain reality. "Marcus, we need to talk about a plea deal." "A plea deal?" "She committed fraud." "I know, but DA's getting cold feet. Without full video, without witnesses, case is harder. Diana's attorney offering, she pleads to lesser charge, pays restitution, resigns, no jail time, no permanent record. That's letting her off. That's pragmatism. If we go to trial and lose, she gets nothing. At least with plea deal, she loses position and pays back money. So after everything, she just walks away? She doesn't walk away. She loses power, pays financially, but yes, avoids serious criminal consequences. I left his office feeling punched. This was the breaking point. The system revealing its limitations. I drove home in silence, sat staring at my house, bought with hope, now a battlefield. Across the street, Diana's lights on, probably celebrating. For the first time, I felt defeated, not angry, not determined, just tired. Tired of fighting, tired of trusting a system bending toward compromise instead of justice. I pulled out my phone to call Daniel, ready to accept the plea deal, but before I could dial, my phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. Check your email, now. I opened email. New message from address I didn't recognize. No subject, just attachment. Video file, time-stamped, 2 nights ago. I clicked play. Video showed Diana in her kitchen, visible through her window, talking on phone, audio clear. "I don't care what evidence they have. I'll drag this out for months, exhaust them." People always give up eventually. And if plea deal goes through, I'll just move to Arizona, start over, maybe run an HOA there. "These people are too stupid to realize I've already won," she laughed. "Even if I lose my position, I've hidden enough in offshore accounts they'll never find it all. The $43,000 they found, that's nothing compared to what I actually took. Over $200,000 in 6 years, but they don't know how to look." Pause. "Don't worry about the software engineer. He thinks he's smart with cameras, but he doesn't understand the system. Justice isn't about evidence. It's about who can afford better lawyers. And I can." Video ended. I sat, hands shaking, reading the email. "Mr. Chen, I'm a former board member. Deanna forced out 3 years ago. When I saw what was happening, I installed a camera aimed at her house because I knew she'd never stop. I've been collecting evidence. This is from 2 nights ago. She doesn't know it exists. Use it. Finish what you started. A friend." I forwarded it to Daniel with 3 words. This changes everything. He called back 5 minutes later, voice sharp with excitement. Marcus, this is a confession. Full admission of fraud, intent to deceive court, and additional embezzlement we didn't know about. This isn't just enough to revive the case, this is enough for prison. Is it admissible? It might face challenges, but here's the thing. She's admitting to crimes court doesn't even know about. The $200,000? We can subpoena her financial records now. Even if video's excluded, it gives us roadmap to admissible evidence. What do we do? Emergency motion tonight. Present this tomorrow. Watch Diana's world fall apart. Daniel worked until 3 a.m. By dawn, we'd built something unassailable. Not just evidence of what Diana did to me, evidence of systematic fraud spanning years. At 9 a.m. Thursday, we filed the emergency motion. By noon, Diana had been arrested. Not friendly questioning, U.S. Marshals with a warrant because it had escalated to federal wire fraud. The $200,000 had crossed state lines. That made it federal. Federal prosecutors don't do plea deals for six-figure embezzlement. Trial came fast. Diana's attorney tried everything. Challenged the video. Questioned its source. None worked because the video gave prosecutors a roadmap. Bank records from Nevada, shell companies in Delaware, offshore transfers. All traced back to Diana. Trial lasted 2 weeks. I testified. Thomas testified. Grace found courage and testified. Sarah appeared via video. Most damaging testimony came from forensic accountant walking jury through 6 years of systematic theft, $237,000 total, hidden across multiple accounts. The car detail got attention. Diana stole HOA money to buy herself luxury car while trying to claim my car should be hers. Irony was poetic. Jury deliberated 4 hours, guilty on all counts. Sentencing came 2 weeks later. Morrison didn't mince words. Miss Whitmore, you were given trust and abused it systematically. You targeted residents. You manufactured evidence. You stole from people you claimed to serve. And when caught, you tried manipulating the legal system. Pause. The court sentences you to 4 years in federal prison for wire fraud and embezzlement, followed by 3 years supervised release. You will pay full restitution of $237,000 plus penalties. You are permanently barred from holding any position in any HOA. 4 years. Real prison. Complete dismantling of her power. Diana's face blank as they led her away. She looked back at me once. Not with hatred, just emptiness. Like she couldn't understand how someone she'd tried to crush had survived and won. I walked out into afternoon sun. Thomas waited outside with Grace and 20 residents. They applauded. Quiet, genuine appreciation. Thank you, Thomas said simply, for all of us. 6 months after sentencing, Ridgeview Heights looked the same but felt completely different. New HOA board Thomas as president had reformed everything. Transparent financial reporting, limits on fine amounts, required second opinions, anonymous hotline, the system rebuilt with accountability. My $11,700 in fraudulent fines was refunded, plus $23,000 in damages, plus legal fees. Diana's house sold to pay restitution. Young family moved in. Parents with 2 kids. Happy. Unburdened. The way neighborhood life should be. One Saturday morning, almost exactly a year after the first false police call, I was washing my Tesla. The young father from Diana's old house walked over. Morning. Car looks great. Thanks, he smiled. We heard about what happened. Must have been rough. I thought about the 13 weeks, the harassment, the manufactured evidence, the false police calls, the legal battles, coming within inches of losing because of technicality, the anonymous video that saved everything. It was rough, I said, but it worked out. Because you fought back, because I documented everything, and because when things looked worst, someone else who'd been hurt had courage to come forward. My phone buzzed. Text from Jackson. Hey, got another HOA case in Seattle. Woman being harassed. Wondered if you'd talk to her? Share your experience? A year ago, I'd have said no, wanted to forget, move on. But now I understood something important. What happened to me wasn't unique. Diana wasn't unique. There were HOA tyrants everywhere, targeting people who didn't know how to fight back. And if my experience could help even one person escape that abuse, I typed, "Send me her number. I'll call tonight." Because that's what you do when you survive something. You help the next person survive too. I finished washing the Tesla, put away supplies. Across the street, the young family was having a barbecue, kids laughing, music playing. Normal Saturday noise nobody would find them for. The way neighborhood life should be. I sat at my laptop and opened a new folder, HOA Defense Guide. Started typing. If you're being targeted by an HOA president abusing authority, here's what you need to know. Because documentation matters, evidence matters, and sometimes the best revenge isn't personal. It's making sure the next person has tools to fight back from day one. The Tesla sat in my driveway, midnight blue gleaming. The car that started everything. The car Diana thought should have been hers. It was mine. Legally, definitively, unquestionably mine. Just like this house, this neighborhood, this life I'd built, and no amount of manufactured authority could take that away. Not anymore.